Hello guys, what you're looking at here is a pan of eggshells that I've collected over the past couple of weeks. And I was watching Old Ways Gardening and Prepping the other day, and she mentioned that it takes 1 to 3 years for these to actually break down to provide calcium in the soil for your plants. And so what I'm going to be doing is what she demonstrated in her video, and that is baking these eggshells in the oven and then placing them in a blender or a food processor and turning it into powder that can be used directly in the soil when planting in your raised beds, pots, what have you. And what I had been doing previously, in which I didn't know that it would take so long, but I would normally take the shells as you see them here. I would place them in my raised beds or in pots in my compost pile, and thinking that that was going to do the trick. But I didn't know that it's a slow releasing process in which the calcium, it takes about a couple of years, several years, before it's actually beneficial. So based on that information, I will be from here on out is placing my eggshells in the oven and baking it until they are completely dry, and then placing them in my blender so that I can turn it into a powdered form and to be able to use when I readily need it. And for those of you who have been following me along, last year, 2021, I had a terrible year with growing watermelon. In fact, I did not get a single watermelon. They were growing quite nicely, and they would start out really well, and then they would develop a brown spot under the bottom and would rot. And of course, that is a sign of a calcium deficiency. So going forward, this 2022, I'm very hopeful that I'll be able to grow watermelon and other plants that require calcium by being able to make my own here on the homestead. So what I'm going to be doing is placing this pan, and of course it was recommended that you either use wax paper or aluminum foil because the eggshells can be a bit sticky. And I will be placing it in my oven, and I'm not sure how long I am going to bake it, but I want to make sure that they are completely dry and can be easily converted into a powder. Okay, I have my oven set on 350, and I have placed my eggshells here in the oven, and I'll probably come back and look at it in about 20 to 30 minutes. Okay guys, it's been an hour that the eggshells have been baking, and if you notice here, I reduced the temperature to 250 instead of 350, and I'm getting ready now to cut the oven off. They've baked for exactly 1 hour, and so I'm just simply going to cut the oven off and allow it to cool overnight, and tomorrow is when I'll crush them up and blend them into a powder. Okay? I'll come back and share that with you when that's done. And so I have removed my eggshells from the oven, and I've gone on and I've placed some in my blender. And this blender is a gift that I received from a baby shower, and I already have a blender, so this one will come quite handy, that I will designate just for the purpose of using it for eggshells or if I'm making bone meal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on. there's my calcium powder ready for the garden. And as you can see, I have a whole lot more here to do, but I'm not going to bore you with that, but just wanted to share this process with you. And also I want to give a special thanks to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping for sharing this information with us. Thank you so much. I hope that you all have enjoyed the video. God bless. Bye-bye. Guys, I just wanted to come back quickly to share with you that when you are opening your container, your lid for your blender, to always turn it away from your face because you don't want to inhale this stuff. And that's one thing that I forgot to mention. So what I typically do is, or what I did today is, I leaned it to the side like so, unscrewed it, and then put the eggshells in this way from an angle. Then I topped it up and then placed it here in the blender. Also, I forgot to mention that with my eggshells, I always rinse the yolk and all of that stuff out with just warm water. And so every last one of the eggshells, I rinsed them out, and then I placed it on my pan here on top of the wax paper. So don't forget to rinse out your eggshells before you bake them in the oven. Okay, guys, thank you so much. God bless. Bye-bye.